This is Igbo Area TV.
Hello. As Biafrans, or as people agitating for Biafrans, there are certain key things you need to know. This is more of giving you a kind of history. Biafrans should know their history. Biafra, officially the Republic of Biafra, was a secessionist state in West Africa which existed from 30th May 1967 to January 1970. It was made up of the states in the eastern region of Nigeria. This is the Biafran flag, the coat of arms. The motto is peace, unity, and freedom. The anthem is Land of the Rising Sun. This is a map of the world, and the spot you see green is called Republic of Biafra. Now, from the map to here, the Nigerian map, you see the Republic of Biafra in May 1967. The capital was Enugu. The languages were English and Igbo predominant. Then we have other languages: French, Efik, Ekwe, Ibibio, Ijo. Now the kind of government of Biafra then was republic. When you talk about the historical era, Cold War, like we said before, Biafra was established 30th May 1967. That's the Biafran Declaration, 30th May 1967. It rejoined the federal Nigeria in 15th January 1970. Now, the size of Biafra as at 1967 is 77,306 kilometers square. That is also to say 29,848 square meters. The population as at 1967 Biafra is 13.5 million people. Now the density, 175 kilometers square or 42 square millimeters. The currency of that particular republic was the Biafran pounds. Biafra's attempt to leave Nigeria resulted in the Nigerian Civil War. The state was formally recognized by Gabon, Haiti, Ivory Coast, Tanzania, and Zambia. Other nations which did not give official recognition but provided support and assistance to Biafra included Israel, France, Spain, Portugal, Norway, Rhodesia, South Africa, and the Vatican City. Biafra also received aid from non-state actors including Joint Church Aid, Holy Ghost Fathers of Ireland, and under their direction Caritas International, Mark Press, and U.S. Catholic Relief Services. Its inhabitants were mostly Igbo, who led the secession due to economic, ethnic, cultural, and religious tensions among the various peoples of Nigeria. After 2.5 years of war, during which almost 2 million Biafran civilians or more died from starvation caused by the total blockade of the region by the Nigerian government and the migration of Biafra's Igbo people into increasingly shrinking territory, Biafran forces, under the motto of "No Victor, No Vanquished," surrendered to the Nigerian Federal Government, FMG, and Biafra was reintegrated into Nigeria. So, the fact is, there was a nation that was called Biafra that was not under Nigeria from 1967. The surrender was facilitated by the Biafran Vice President and Chief of General Staff, Major General Philip Effiong, who assumed leadership of the defunct republic after the original president, Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, moved to Ivory Coast. Etymology. The country took its name from the Bight of Biafra, the stretch of water to its south at the east end of the Gulf of Guinea. Little is known about the literal meaning of the word Biafra. The word Biafra most likely derives from the subgroup Biafra or Biafada, or the tender ethnic group who reside primarily in Guinea-Bissau. Check Manuel Alvarez, 1526 to 1583. Now on the secession. In 1960, Nigeria became independent of the United Kingdom. As with many other new African states, the borders of the country did not reflect earlier ethnic, cultural, or religious boundaries. Thus, the northern region of the country has a Muslim majority, while the southern population is predominantly Christian. Following independence, Nigeria was divided primarily along ethnic lines, with a Hausa and Fulani majority in the north and Yoruba and Igbo majority in the southwest and southeast, respectively. In January 1966, a military coup occurred, during which a group of predominantly Igbo junior army officers assassinated 30 political leaders, including Nigeria's Prime Minister, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, and the Northern Premier, Sir Ahmadu Bello. The foremost senior officers of the northern origin were also killed. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the president, who is of Igbo extraction and a premier of the southeastern part of the country, were not killed, and the commander of the army, General Aguiyi Ironsi, seized power to maintain order. In July 1966, northern officers and army units staged a counter-coup. Muslim officers named a general from a small ethnic group, the Angas, in central Nigeria, General Yakubu Jack Gowon, as the head of the Federal Military Government, FMG. Gowon was actually a Christian, but most of the top government figures were Muslims, chose Gowon to represent them. The two coups deepened Nigeria's ethnic tensions. In September 1966, approximately 30,000 Igbo were killed in the north, and some Northerners were killed in backlashes in eastern cities. Listen as I read Ojukwu's takeover speech as the president of Biafra, or the speech he gave to declare that the eastern part of Nigeria is no more part of Nigeria at that time. He said, "Now therefore, I, Lieutenant Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, military governor of eastern Nigeria, by virtue of the authority and pursuant to the principles recited above, do hereby solemnly proclaim that the territory and region known as and called eastern Nigeria, together with her continental shelf and territorial waters, shall henceforth be an independent sovereign state of the name and the title of the Republic of Biafra." This speech was given by Ojukwu as Biafra secedes from Nigeria in 1967. Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu proposed a confederated Nigeria. In January 1967, the military leaders and senior police officials of each region met in Aburi, Ghana, and agreed on a loose confederation of regions. The Northerners were at odds with the Aburi Accord. Obafemi Awolowo, the leader of the Western region, warned that if the Eastern region succeeded, the Western region would also, which persuaded the Northerners. After the federal and Eastern governments failed to reconcile, on 26 May, the Eastern region voted to secede from Nigeria. On 30th May, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, the Southeastern region's military governor, announced the Republic of Biafra, citing the Easterners killed in the post-coup violence. The large amount of oil in the region created conflict, as oil was already becoming a major component of the Nigerian economy. The Eastern region was very ill-equipped for war, outmanned and outgunned by the military of the remainder of Nigeria. Their advantages included fighting in their homeland and support of most Southeasterners. The Nigerian Civil War. The FMG, Federal Military Government, launched police measures to annex the eastern region on 6 July 1967. The FMG's initial efforts were unsuccessful. Biafrans successfully launched their own offensive, occupying areas in the Midwestern region in August 1967. By October 1967, the FMG had regained the land after intense fighting. In September 1968, the Federal Army planned what Gowon described as the final offensive. Initially, the final offensive was neutralized by Biafran troops. In the later stages, a southern FMG offensive managed to break through the fierce resistance. An ex-Biafran officer, Sunday Onwuzo Nwiwe alias Bazooka, epitomized that Biafrans lost the war as a result of Occidental conspiracy and hunger. It is believed that one of the major factors that sparked the war was the declaration of independence for Biafra made by Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwuojukwu in 1967. He eventually died on the 26th of November 2011, aged 78, after a brief illness, many years after the war. Biafra comprised of 29,848 square miles, which is 77,310 kilometers square of land, with terrestrial borders shared with Nigeria to the north and west, and with Cameroon to the east. Its coast was on the Gulf of Guinea in the south. The former country's northeast bordered the Benue Hills and mountains that lead to Cameroon. 3 major rivers flow from Biafra into the Gulf of Guinea: the Imo River, the Cross River, and the Niger River. The territory of Biafra is covered nowadays by the Nigerian states of Cross River, Ebonyi, Enugu, Anambra, Imo, Bayelsa, Rivers, Abia, and Akwa Ibom. While the Igbo people of the current Nigerian state of Delta were not included in Biafra as per Ojukwu's decree founding Biafra, some Delta Igbo did fight on the Biafran side. Now let's talk about the economy of the Biafra. An early institution created by the Biafran government was the Bank of Biafra, accomplished under Decree number 3 of 1967. The bank carried out all central banking functions, including the administration of foreign exchange and the management of the public debt of the Republic. The bank was administered by a governor and 4 directors. The first governor who signed on the banknote was Sylvester Ugo. A second decree, Decree number 4 of 1967, modified the Banking Act of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the Republic of Biafra. The bank was first located in Enugu, but due to the ongoing war, the bank was relocated several times. Biafra attempted to finance the war through foreign exchange. After Nigeria announced their currency would no longer be legal tender to make a way for a new currency, this effort increased. After the announcement, tons of Nigerian banknotes were transported in an effort to acquire foreign exchange. The currency of Biafra had been the Nigerian pound until the Bank of Biafra started printing out its own notes, the Biafran pound. The new currency went public on 28 January 1968, and the Nigerian pound was not accepted as an exchange unit. The first issue of the banknotes included only 5 shillings notes and 1 pound notes. The Bank of Nigeria exchanged only 30 pounds for an individual and 300 pounds for enterprises in the second half of 1968. In 1969, new notes were introduced: 10 pounds, 5 pounds, 1 pounds. It is estimated that a total of 115 to 140 million Biafran pounds were in circulation by the end of the conflict, with a population of about 14 million, approximately 10 pounds per person. In uncirculated condition, these are very inexpensive and readily available for collectors. Military. This is a roundel of the Biafran Air Force. At the beginning of the war, Biafra had 3,000 soldiers, but at the end of the war, the soldiers totaled 30,000. There was no official support for the Biafran army by any other nation throughout the war, although arms were clandestinely acquired. Because of the lack of official support, the Biafrans manufactured many of their weapons locally. Europeans served in the Biafran cause. German-born Rolf Steiner was a lieutenant colonel assigned to the 4th Commando Brigade, and Welshman Taffy Williams served as a major until the very end of the conflict. A special guerrilla unit, the Biafran Organization of Freedom Fighters, was established, designed to emulate the Viet Cong, targeting Nigerian supply lines and forcing them to shift forces to internal security efforts. The Biafrans managed to set up a small yet effective air force. The BAF commanders were Chude Soke and later Godwin Ezelo, who had trained with the Royal Canadian Air Force. Early inventory included 2 B-25 Mitchells, 2 B-26 Invaders, one piloted by Polish World War II ace Jan Zumbach, known also as John Brown, a converted DC-3 and one Dove. In 1968, the Swedish pilot Carl Gustav von Rosen suggested the Minicoin project to General Ojukwu. By early 1969, Biafra had assembled 5 MF-59Bs in Gabon, calling them Biafran babies. They were colored green, were able to carry 6 68mm anti-armor rockets under each wing, and had simple sights. The 6 aeroplanes were flown by 3 Swedish pilots and 3 Biafran pilots. In September 1969, Biafrans acquired 4 ex-Army de la Air North American T-26Gs, which were flown to Biafra the following month, with another aircraft lost on the ferry flight. These aircraft flew missions until January 1970 and were flown by Portuguese ex-military pilots. Biafra also had a small improvised navy, but it never gained the success their air force did. It was headquartered in Kidney Island, Port Harcourt, and commanded by Winifred Anuku. The Biafran navy was made up of a captured craft, coveted tugs, and armored reinforced civilian vessels armed with machine guns or captured 6-pounder guns. It is mainly operated in the Niger Delta and along the Niger River. Legacy. The international humanitarian organizations, Medicine Sans Frontiers, originated in response to the suffering in Biafra. During the crisis, French medical volunteers, in addition to Biafran health workers and hospitals, were subjected to attacks by the Nigerian army and witnessed civilians being murdered and starved by blockading forces. French doctor Bernard Kouchner also witnessed these events, particularly the huge number of starving children, and when he returned to France, he publicly criticized the Nigerian government and the Red Cross for their seemingly complicit behavior. With the help of other French doctors, Kouchner put Biafra in the media spotlight and called for an international response to the situation. These doctors, led by Kouchner, concluded that a new aid organization was needed that would ignore political religious boundaries and prioritize the welfare of victims. In their study, Smallpox and its Eradication, Fenner and colleagues describe how vaccine supply shortage during the Biafra smallpox campaign led to the development of focal vaccination technique, later adopted worldwide by the World Health Organization, which led to the early and cost-effective interruption of smallpox transmission in West Africa and elsewhere. On 29 May 2000, the Lagos Guardian newspaper reported that the now ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo committed to retirement the dismissal of all military persons who fought for the breakaway state of Biafra during Nigeria's 1967 to 1970 Civil War. In a national broadcast, he said that the decision was based on the belief that justice must at all times be tempered with mercy. In July 2006, the Center for World Indigenous Studies reported that government-sanctioned killings were taking place in southeastern city of Onitsha because of a shoot-to-kill policy directed towards Biafran loyalists, particularly members of the Movement for the Actualization of the Sovereign State of Biafra, MASOB. Movement to resucceed. The Movement for the Actualization of the Sovereign States of Biafra, MASOB, is one of the numerous groups advocating for a separate country for the people of southeastern Nigeria. They accuse the state of marginalizing the Igbo people. MASOB says it is a peaceful group and advertises a 25-stage plan to achieve its goal peacefully. It has two arms of government, the Biafran government in exile and Biafra shadow government. The Nigerian government accuses MASOB of violence. MASOB's leader, Ralph Wazorike, was arrested in 2005 and was detained on treason charges. He has since been released. In 2009, MASOB launched an unrecognized Biafran international passport in response to persistent demand by some Biafran sympathizers in the diaspora. On 16 June 2015, the Supreme Council of Elders of the Indigenous People of Biafra, another pro-Biafra organization, sued the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the right to self-determination within their region as a sovereign state. As of 2017, a new struggle for Biafran independence is being championed by the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, led by Nnamdi Kanu and his London-based colleagues, from where they run Radio Biafra and Biafra Television. IPOB and its sister organizations, among which are Movement for the Actualization of Sovereign State of Biafra, MASOB, have accused the Nigerian army and the police of extrajudicial killings of their members. The Nigerian government, through its broadcasting regulators, the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, and Nigerian Communications Communication, NCC, has sought to clamp down on the UK-based station with limited success. On 17 November 2015, the Abia State Police Command seized an IPOB radio transmitter in Umuahia. Nnamdi Kanu was detained by the federal government and released on 24 April 2017. Meanwhile, the group Biafran Nations Youth League, BNYL, comprising mainly members from the present South-South Nigeria, especially the old Cross River region, now Bakassi Cross River State, and Akwa Ibom State, including Igbo members, have organized series of grassroots congress, especially in towns such as Ikom, Eket, Bakassi, Itu, Ikwere, Obudu, Ahwada, and other areas of their influence. One of their leaders, Ebuta Oga Takon from the Ekoi, also known as Ejegan ethnic groups in Cross River State, also a tribe in Cameroon, disclosed to Nigeria's Sun newspaper that the BNYL struggle for Biafra independence is not limited to the Igbo people cluster of southeast Nigeria alone, but all inhabitants of the Bight of Biafra in Nigeria. BNYL leadership said that the neglect of Bakassi refugees and marginalization of the Igbo, Ekoi, Ibibio, and other ethnic groups of the southeastern Nigeria are among reasons for Biafra agitation. The various groups clamoring for the restoration of the independence of Biafra have often been beset with internal wranglings that have impeded its secessionist efforts. On 19 October 2015, Chief Ralph Wazorike of the Movement of the Actualization of the Sovereign State of Biafra, MASOB, disclosed that the director of the Radio Biafra and leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, does not belong to the movement and was sacked for indiscipline and for inciting violence among members. BNYL have continued to distance itself from the internal wrangling between MASOB and IPOB, although Prince Well Obuka, national leader of BNYL, as reported by the New Telegraph Nigeria, announced the group withdrawal from a coalition of pro-Biafra groups, following the union announcement declaring that IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, overall leader of the Biafran struggle. This, he said, was done without due consultation and consideration of other people's opinion. There has been a renewed intense agitation for Biafra secession. Since August 2015, protests have erupted in cities across Nigeria's southeast. Though peaceful, the protesters have been routinely attacked by the Nigerian police and army, with scores of people reportedly killed. Many others have been injured and or arrested. On 23 December 2015, the federal government charged Nnamdi Kanu with treasonable felony in the Federal High Court in Abuja. According to the Southeast-based Coalition of Human Rights Organizations, SBCHROS, security forces under the directive of the federal government has killed 80 members of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB and their supporters between 30 August 2015 and 9 February 2016 in a renewed clampdown on the movement. A report by Amnesty International also accuses the Nigerian government of killing at least 17 unarmed Biafran separatists in the city of Onitsha prior to a march on 30 May 2016 commemorating the 49th anniversary of the initial secession of Biafra. We've just given you updates from 1967 till date. The key things that have happened from 1967 till date. Thanks for listening to Igbo Area TV. Please subscribe to our channel for more updates. God bless you and bye for now.